y'all come on in the building. Y'all already know what time it is, man. It's your boy, your host with the most. Your boy Dub Q is in the building. And it's time for a little therapy session to sit down with your boy, man. Before we get into it, on your way on in, come on in, like, comment, subscribe. It's a beautiful day, man. What's up to you, 704? How you living? Look, let's get into it as we do. I can't put it in any other way other than the way that it's sitting right here. But make sure before we get started, we're gonna talk about it. Um, Effective communication. Y'all already see it. Panther fans, let's talk about it. Are we as outrageous? Are we as toxic of a fan base that there is in the NFL right now, today, in today's time? Are the Carolina Panthers one of the most toxic fan bases that we have ever seen? Like I said, man, be sure on your way on in to come on in, comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna go ahead and put the link there because, like I said, this channel, this show today is about effective communication and having it. So before we do anything else, I'm gonna put the link in the chat, and it's gonna be an open discussion for anybody that want to come up here and talk, man. Um, I want to talk about, y'all see it. The Carolina Panthers are in another situation where, first and foremost, we have to come out and establish ourselves and get a little bit of grounding and footing for this next upcoming season. Everyone sees that there is guys like Brandon Ayuk that's being dangled across like a carrot for the Carolina Panthers right now. There's not a Panther fan that probably didn't go to any bit of social media or any place over there to say, hey, we need Brandon Ayuk. We want Brandon Ayuk. How can we get this trade to happen? How can we make this happen right here? How could we effectively get this young man in the building? For every yin, there's a yang. For every piece of positivity that you have negativity. Um, Bringing in a guy like Brandon Ayuk and what it would mean for this franchise, what it would mean for this quarterback, what it would mean for the Carolina Panthers, and having another weapon that could come out here. It's a very interesting thing to think about. Let's put it in full perspective. Let's talk about, first of all, is there a need to go and bolster up this wide receiving corps that seemingly got way better than it did from last year? Is there a need to even go that route? Understandably so, when you're sitting in a position where, like I said, we were 2-15 this past season, everybody is saying the handwriting is on the wall. You should do whatever you could to have as much as firepower in the building. That way, win, lose, or draw, you did everything that you could to try to establish a winning culture. But that's one word right there here in Carolina that I just don't think that we have sat down and look at both sides of. Culture. The last time we had an atmosphere that was conducive to winning, that an atmosphere that people could say, hey, the Panthers were a serious contender. The Panthers have been a franchise that's been about winning and getting to the playoffs and contending for a Super Bowl championship, the Lombardi Trophy. We haven't had anybody, well, our fan base haven't been to the talking point where we can say, hey, we want to put our hat in the race to be a contender for a Super Bowl. Every year, it's seemingly we come up shorter and shorter and shorter. And this past season, we came up 2-15 short. So shout out to everybody, like I said, as you come on in here. It's one of those ones where I understand the hunger, I understand the thirst, but what I don't understand for Panther fans is the erratic behavior when it comes to the thought, or most people will say the misthought of what you see last year. Now, I've seen people, and I just sat back the last week or so because I want to take this time and really just see what the temperature check is around in Pantherland. And it's like I told you guys before. A bank has been robbed and everybody is pointing guns at each other. They're making sure that the offensive line don't come out and be terrible. They're making sure that, hey, okay, I just want everybody to know that the team was bad last year. I'm hearing this all over on the spectrum, on Twitter and this right here. Everybody was bad. It just wasn't our quarterback play. Don't hang it on the quarterback. Don't hang it on this or that. Everybody has, like I said, I've been hearing excuse from excuse from excuse. At the end of the day, it's going to be time to pay the piper. Come this season right here, when all talk is off, when it's off the shelf, there is no more talk when it comes time to suit up and get on that field. Understandably so, we haven't seen an ounce of Panther football yet, and we're going to get a glimpse of what it would look like at camp, and we're going to, be able to see some of the patterns and stuff like that. Like they're going to want to run this season. You're going to see a little bit of that in camp, just a dose of that. But I can tell you one thing: I came into camp last year. I took one look at this thing and I said, that's not it. We weren't moving the football through preseason. You could see it. It was very visible. Now, be mindful. You want to be able to go into a preseason open-mindedly. You want to clear the slate from the last season and say, hey, this is a new season. We're hoping for the best. Once again, that is the hopeful wishing part of myself that I say as a Panther fan every year I would like to do. Now, the problem is sometimes I tell myself, with hopeful wishing, we could turn this thing around. That right there is the erratic part of me, knowing that we were probably the league's worst team last year. But I'm saying to myself, hey, we can turn this thing around. I have gone so far as to see people saying, like I said, I'm just reading the temperature in the Panther land. What they're saying, we're going to win 13. We're going to win 13 games. We're going to go into the playoffs this season. And you're going to see Bryce come out and he's going to exhibit what they like to call, he's going to come out and stand on his own because everything is going to look better. You don't have to worry about the Hunger Games environment. You don't have to worry about the coaching. The coaches are all getting on one page and everything is going to be better. That's what they tell me. So I sit back and I say to myself, realistically, what should I expect this season as a Panther fan? Once again, the name of this show today is Effective Communication. Do the Panthers exhibit effective communication? Are we all getting to the point where we can understand one another and understand where one another is coming from when it comes to this roster and this team that we all love? Make no mistake about it. We all love this team. We all exhibit different ways of showcasing that love for this team. What's up with you, Shane? What's up, Roadmaster? Y'all come on in and make sure y'all like the video on your way in. We all exhibit it. That's why I say I never once will tell anybody how to fan. I would never once tell anybody they're wrong for saying we're going to win 14 or 15 games. They're a little erratic. I would call them, I would think, now this is me personally, I would think that they're a tad bit delusional, but everybody is entitled to their own opinion. Like I said, my opinion is no greater than anybody else's opinion. Even though most of the times we're spot on with some of the stuff that we're saying when we see it. But it's not the hit or the there. Like I said, this is all about effective communication. I want to make sure that as Panther fans, as Black Cats, everybody who is under the sound of my voice right now, watch this show, or they sometimes, like I said, they come in and out. But the number one message that I want you to take away from this show today is, can we sit down across the table from each other and effectively talk about what the strengths and the weaknesses of this team is, and can we see this team bouncing back? Simply put, are we in a position to see this team even bounce back? I know a lot of people would like to say, as long as we have, per se general manager, per se owner, we aren't going to be able to effectively put together a good roster. I'm going to be real with you. Hard Knocks dropped yesterday. Saw a little bit of the tidbits from there. And to see some of the draft picks that we turned down for star talent, I was a tad bit disappointed in my GM when I see the Giants GM somewhat getting the best of us. I don't like being taken advantage of. I don't think anybody in life likes to be taken advantage of. Every day I wake up, I put my best foot forward for it to be a better day. I don't wake up and start walking in reverse. I walk forward. You know what I'm saying? I take what I learned from yesterday and I move forward and I walk forward. So that way I don't make the same mistake twice. Now, you sit back and you listen and you watch some of the mistakes that Scott Fitterer made as a GM, not knowing when to make deals, sitting around waiting too long to make deals, end up crippling this franchise. You hold on to players that should have been out of the door, that could have helped us. It's one of those things where effectively, once again, we had an opportunity to capitalize on good moments and we did not. I see people always arguing about, okay, what was done, what wasn't done. I don't even want to hear about it. I see people get upset at the thought or the mention of certain players. Like, check this out. Nobody speaks on the departure of Frankie Louvu. But if you mention the word Brad Burns, everybody's ass cheeks get tight. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I'm talking about effective communication. To effectively be able to communicate how you feel about losing Frankie Louvu, who was, to me, the heart and soul of this defense last year. The heart and soul the year before. We watched this guy come out here, blood, sweat, and tears. Yeah, oofs. Do his tribal dance. Had us all doing the tribal dance. But yet, it's like you wipe him from your memory the moment that they say, okay, he said, okay, I'm leaving. Didn't want to be here. Because to him, the franchise, I'm assuming, now this is just me assuming, he had a better position that he could get in Washington. Better opportunity for him, personally. I like to think that we have one of the best franchises in the NFL, as any fan should. Any fan should be very, 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 very proudful to be a Carolina Panther fan. Now be mindful, it's once again we see ourselves in a losing situation where the fans get erratic. I love our fans, but I admit that some of our fans that hasn't been here for the long term or don't have genuine love for the franchise, they only want to see superstar plays. They only want to see, hey, let's drop back and let me see if I can get a quarterback that can juke somebody out their socks. Let me see if I can get a quarterback that can throw the ball 60, 70 yards down the field. Come on, man. It's time for a reality check for Panther fans. It's time for us to get in the position and understand that as a Panther fan, I don't think some of these people love their team the way they say they love their team. Let's just effectively communicate. Some people put the Panthers down once we started losing last year and hasn't watched an ounce of information about the team since. An ounce. Not 1 ounce. That tells me everything that I need to know from you as a fan. I'm just being real. I saw a cat, huge, diehard Panther fan. Every time I see him, Panther fan. He loved everything about it. Every time I see him in the stores every day, Panther fan. I say, hey man, what you think about us getting Clowney? Huh? Who? We got Clowney? He stopped watching the shit. He stopped watching it probably. He told me he got mad with the season and just stopped watching because it was hard for him to bear. So he don't know who we pick up. He don't know who we have on the team now. He don't even know who the GM is. You get what I'm saying? There's a lot of fans just like him. They can't effectively communicate his feelings about the team and where the team is sitting at. Instead of he fight and face the bullets of saying, "Hey, we're not good," he say, "Fuck it, I ain't gonna even watch this shit no more because you know what? We bad. I ain't even gonna say we bad. I'm just gonna say fuck it. I'm not gonna watch it no more." You get what I'm saying? And then you fool yourself into saying we're not actually bad. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Atlanta Bird Gang, what's up with your brother? That's my boy T in the building. What's happening? What's up with your Dom 34? Man, it's good to see some of y'all in the chat, man. Earl Locklear, what's happening with you? What's going on? Shane, a realistic bounce back, he said, is 7 to 8 wins. For me, and I'm gonna just be honest with you, just to answer his comment in the chat. We won 2 games this past season. If I get 5 or 6, I'll say it's progress. Because you're gonna have to crawl before you walk. You're gonna have to get somewhere to understand, you know, the direction of the path you're trying to go down. If this is a successful franchise, or if this team has been put together, you'll win at least 5 to 6 games, and that'll tell you that you're trending in the right direction. I don't expect us to come out and be world beaters this year because this team wasn't crafted to come out and put up a bunch of points. It just wasn't. I love our team, but I'm just being realistic with where we're sitting at. You know what I'm saying? Fans are saying, "Hey, I just want to see touchdowns," because our quarterback last year only had 11 touchdowns. 11 touchdowns, and it was like 10 interceptions. So it was a porous output from the quarterback position, but it's not his fault. Like I said, we had the Hunger Games environment here where you got coaches that wasn't even able to talk to each other. You got the offensive lineman coach beefing with the offensive coordinators and the wide receivers, and it was just a clusterfuck of a mess. Now, I'm not cutting no slack off this boy. Like I said, he still got to come out and produce and show his skills. But in the mix of what we saw last season, it will be hard for a lot of people to get out here and flourish. That's why I haven't been hard on this young boy. I haven't been too hard on him. Like I said, today's show, the topic is about effective communication. I'm here to talk to you. Let's talk. Let's get into it as we do. I'm always saying that I understand where we sit at as a franchise. I understand the ceiling and the floor. Like understanding the foundation that you should be trying to build here is establishing core players, establishing young budding superstars. That way you can build around them for the foreseeable future. You need young guys, young talent to come in through the door and be able to ascend to greater heights. We haven't had that in a couple of seasons because every time we switch coaching staffs, we get rid of the talent that was young and starting to go down the direction. We get rid of them. Once again, I'm just telling it like it is. Shout out to everybody in the chat. BCP is in the building. This is Black Cat Panther Podcast. And if you ain't like the video on the way in, what you doing, cuz? It's your boy Q, and I'm just talking to you, man. I'm here today because the message is we gotta communicate better as a franchise, as a fan base. Yes, we are not good. Don't let nobody fool you. But there is ways to go about not being good. As long as you got young promise, you're going to be fine. Young promise means that tomorrow is going to be brighter than what it was today. That's what I'm feeling and believing. Looking at this team, looking at this roster, we're starting to trending in the right direction. Now, granted, we haven't seen the most from our GM. We haven't seen the best moments from him. As of lately, like we said, Hard Knocks has come out and showcased him on a level where you're saying, damn, is that our GM being taken advantage of in the Brian Burns trade? That's crazy. Like you could have got. So you mean to tell me Joe Sheen from the Giants wanted to start off with two twos, but somehow we got talked down to 1-2, a five, a five swap? Not even really, because we just basically swap places with them in the fifth round. We got a two and you just swap places. Well, it came out this morning, yesterday, that we had a chance to also get a seventh round pick, but because our general manager came out and said, hey, I gotta wait on the higher ups to get the authorization to make that trade happen. You know what I'm saying? What we thought wasn't the case. They said that this team was going to be David Tepper's way of moving out of the way. That's what they told us. Bringing in Dan Morgan was going to move David Tepper out of the way and Brant Tillis. But it seems to be, like I said, before Dan Morgan, who is our GM, had a chance to even orchestrate anything, he had to check with the Teppers. That's crazy. Now, I've been argued at week by week. I've been called dumb, stupid. They say our podcast is a joke. They say we don't know what we're talking about. But I'm not the smartest man. But when you got an owner who's never played a lick of football advising your GM who has played and played at a high level on what he needs to do next, your franchise is going to be running in circles. Because against better judgment, every time he wants to make a decision, probably, he is going to get shut down. But I told you guys before, this guy was somewhat part of the problem coming through the door. He sat with the last regime that really took us to worse, that dig the ditch worse. That's what he did. So I'm not going to be one of those people that's going to come out, tell people, hey, you need to trust and believe in it is. Like I said, I've shown video and people had tell me that's not what the words that came out of somebody's mouth. Once again, the name of this show is called Effective Communication. If I communicate to you that I see something that's not working, you call me crazy and say, yes, it is. That's where we at, bro. Effective communication is being able to verbally come out, sit down amongst somebody across the table and be able to speak one's opinion and be heard. It's about being heard. I don't think Panther fans are hearing each other. We're not hearing each other. We talk at each other all day because one wants to be right. One wants to be smarter than the other. One wants to make another one look bad, and they lose the fact that we are all playing for the same team. We are all rooting for the same team. We all have one cause, and that's to see Charlotte be uplifted with a championship. That's what it is. I think at the end of the day, Charlotte is what deserves to benefit from us sitting here and loving this team that we call the Carolina Panthers. It's Charlotte, dog. That's what it's all about. The Bible Beltway. I'm just saying, cuz, what are we doing? I don't want to be the laughing stock of the NFL. That's not what I woke up and say, hey, I'm going to put my pants on left side, right side, and I'm going to put my clown suit on top of that. Nah, that's not what I woke up and said I was going to do. I ain't no goddamn clown. I love my team, but I ain't no joke either. They look at us like we the laughing stock of all the franchises because, simply put, it's the way we're being managed. It's the way the organization looks. Whenever you see stuff like Hard Knocks and you see your general manager mixing business with feelings and going on vacations with the guy that's finessing the hell out of them. But we don't want to talk about that. We will swipe that under the rug. And you don't have a motherfucker call you crazy. You didn't see that. That's not what the case was. It's called effective communication. That's all I'm saying, cuz. By the end of this show right here, I want everybody in the chat saying effective communication, because that's what it's all about. Being able to hear one another. I'm here to hear you guys. We, the people, the multitude, we all buy into this product. And all I'm saying is I'm here because y'all here. I love this team because it's the only thing that I have known since I have been a kid. I didn't start loving this team in 2015. Watching Cam Dab was icing on the cake for me because I had a chance to see this franchise before then. I was sitting down with other Panther fans back in the day. Now it's like trying to find Panther fans at the barbershop. If they see you with your Panther hat on, the first thing they're going to do is clown you because they think we a joke. They're going to clown you. Once again, man, shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm just telling it how it is, man. What's good with you, Ronnie? Like, it's just one of those things where the older and older that I get, the more and more that I think about what this team can be, not could be. I said that on purpose. Can be. Because if you can put all the ingredients into the pot and make it stir well, you might have a good pot of gumbo. Now we got a little bit of shrimp. We just can't seem to get the base of the gumbo together. I need a little bit of vegetables to go in this gumbo. I might put a little bit of rice in this gumbo too. But I just can't seem to get the right pack of rice to go in here. Whole grains instead of long grains look like, because I just can't seem to get it right. As a Panther fan, I just want to get it right, dog. They burn you if you have an opinion about Bryce Young. They'll burn you if you speak about Adam Thielen walking around here bumping his black ass gums every step of the way, like how he doing. Every time you look at Adam Thielen, he basically telling you, I don't want to be here. That's not what he said. You didn't hear that. Yes, I did. The motherfucker said he wanted the Chiefs, but the Chiefs didn't want him. Every time I look at Adam Thielen, what is he on in the media saying? This is not what they told me when I came here. This is not what they promised me. Like I said, you telling me it's not what it is. Effective communication is what it's all about, bro. I'm not a Panther fan that's erratic. I'm a Panther fan that can sit down and have an open dialogue with somebody else that's sitting across the table from me. Once again, I understand thoroughly that the entire team was shit last year. Frank Wright, to me, terrible coach, shitty coach. Like I said, some people may think otherwise, but to me, personally, he was a shitty coach. Bad, terrible hire. Hell, I'd even go as far to say as Matt Rule was a better coach than that son of a bitch named Frank. Thomas Brown, brought in as offensive coordinator, wrote the playbook with Frank, and it was shit. Now, 20 years of experience, you couldn't get together anything that would resemble an offensive playbook. That vanilla shit went all last year. Now, you got finessed into taking a quarterback that you didn't want, but you sat down and you told the owner, yeah, I can coach him. So, therefore, I'm holding your ass to accountability. You should have said, nah, that's not my guy. I don't want him. And quite frankly, give me who I want. Andy Reid did it. Andy Reid didn't win shit before he got Patrick Mahomes. But he said, if I get this wrong, you can have my job. Now, this is the one thing that I just don't understand. Effective communications. We got people that won't even say Frank Wright was a terrible coach last year. It was terrible. You own him. He was jumping down, coming from the stands, writing down plays on a goddamn napkin. Shit I ain't never heard. The Browns run plays like this right here. Middle of the year, he coming down from the podium, from the box, telling them that, hey man, fix Bryce Young's footwork. I need you to fix his footwork. Can you fix his footwork by Thanksgiving? What? Do you realize footwork is muscle memory? But once again, that ain't something y'all want to be open and have a conversation about. I'm just talking facts around here. Now they'll come out here and they'll call me every name in the book at the end of the videos. You can't see this, you harp on that. Once again, I'm just speaking facts right now. Now stop me or call me a liar. Feel free to call me a liar if I'm saying something that didn't happen in the last year or so. That's all I'm saying. This team just was not built structurally correct. That's how you got a left tackle, which the fan base right now has essentially turned all the way on Ike Ekwonu. They want to blame this young man for the stunt, the lack of development of the quarterback. They're going to blame your left tackle. They're ready to push him out of the door immediately. Now be mindful, the year before that, when it was a zone run blocking scheme, this boy looked incredible. He was moving bitches out the way. Now you turn this into a pass block, you change the scheme, and this boy looked like he couldn't even grab water out of a well. Couldn't do it because it wasn't catered to his strengths. His strengths is running the damn ball. That's why you see Canales, his first step this year. Let me take a running back in the second round. Smart motherfucker. He said, let me run the damn ball. Let me get somebody that I know my left tackle can block for. That's going to relieve pressure on this entire offense. Because it starts in the trenches. Motherfuckers will always get around here and say, hey, this is what you need to do. That's what you need. No, you build from the trenches. Offensively, you need to have the best line that money can buy. And apparently that's what the Carolina Panthers did. I mean, god damn, they went and spent $300 million. But that's not the here nor the there. You need to have young talent across the offensive line. We got some pieces in there. Now, this offensive line has been remastered, rescheduled, retampered, restructured, redone. Whatever fucking you want to choose, that's what this has been done. So now you got an offensive line, and you're sitting here and you're saying, if I can just get and keep my quarterback upright, we might have a chance to come out here and potentially win games or at least be competitive in games. Like I said, effective communication. Let's talk about it. Offensive line play last year for a skill set. Once again, the offensive line was out of its skill set. Philosophies and skill sets mean everything in the NFL. It's about the pieces to the puzzle. Having the correct pieces will open up the gateway or segue you into a position where you can actually get production. Production is the name of the game. If I know I have a zone run blocking left tackle, a zone run blocking center, and a zone run blocking right tackle, but he's a great pass blocker as well, I would cater the strengths of the team to zone run blocking. I'll go get another tight end, bolster that some bitch up, and run the fucking ball. But you got to also have a running back that's worth a damn. And excuse me, once again, this is my opinion. I'm not high on Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard to me is probably a second string, third string running back on somebody else's team. He's not a starting caliber running back. He's not elusive. He's not going to be dynamic enough to break tackles and score a bevy of touchdowns. Now, he's a serviceable running back that'll get you check downs from here to there, and he'll move the chains. But he is nobody's. He ain't no goddamn Emmitt Smith. He ain't no damn Edgerrin James, Austin Eckler. He's not that type of running back where he is going to be a difference maker. Like I said, the guy is a number two. You put him on, you put him on any other team except for the Panthers, he is probably a number two or a number three, a complimentary piece, a change of pace back. But they did good. They went and got Sanders. Whenever Sanders come back from his ACL, whether that's the end of this year, middle of the year, whenever the fuck he comes back, you'll have a good 1-2 punch. All I'm saying is we're sitting in a position where everything's going to be predicated on us opening up the run game and making everybody else dynamic. Because you got a quarterback, and this is no shape or form. Nobody should get bent out of shape for me saying this. His job is to come out and just be average. He is not able to uplift anybody or make anybody better, but he can probably manage the game. And keyword right there was probably able to manage the game. That's all I'm saying. So as we get in here, it's about effective communication, being able to open up, talk, have both sides of your mind open, have the ability to just sit down and say, hey, I hear you. Me as a Panther fan, I hear you guys. This is why I'm here today. I'm not here to bash anybody. I'm not here to talk shit to nobody. I'm not here to say, hey, your opinion is not valid. I'm not here to say, hey, because you don't play, you don't know this. I'm not doing that to nobody. We all love the blue and the black. We all like it in different ways, shape, forms, and fashion. All I'm saying is this season is now it's now or never. It's more critical than anything. It's more critical than anything, huh? So I'm gonna put that out there. I see Jalen in the back. What's up with you, Jalen?
Yo, what's up, man? What's up? Long time
What's
no
going on,
see.
man?
Nothing
Give me your
much.
thoughts and your opinion. We talking about effective communication amongst Panther fans.
Y'all, yeah. Hmm. Well, let's get it started. My first thoughts is, yeah, man. We, us Panther fans, we gotta, you know, I'm not being mean or anything, Q. So don't take this as like being mean, but we gotta stop being or Panther fans gonna have to stop being delusional. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay, and when you say delusional, I mean elaborate a little bit more on what you mean they're being delusional about. What is it exactly they're being delusional about, in your
the
opinion?
GM saying Dan Morgan, Tepper, he don't stay out the way. Dan Morgan's gonna say no to Tepper. Well, it ain't looking like it. If we getting fleeced like that, it ain't looking like it.
Okay. Well, give me your opinion on Panther fans and how and virtually how they bash each other's opinions, because
Ooh.
everybody is different. Everybody see things differently, but because of where we're sitting at with a losing franchise at this particular moment, everybody seems to jump on each other's ass whenever they say something. So give me your opinion on Panther fans in general.
Oh, in general, when they like, oh yeah, okay, when they bash other people's opinions, ooh. My opinion on that is, it's an opinion at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? I have my opinion, they have theirs. We shouldn't bash over an opinion unless it's a fact or something, or they don't think it's true. But all that stuff is a opinion. So, like
Yeah,
for
and
example,
But like
uh,
you just said, Chuba being a complimentary back, you feel me? That's not an opinion. That's a fact, bro. You look at 32 teams in the league. I could probably name 20 teams right now off the top of my head. If you put Chuba Hubbard on that team, he's definitely not the running back one. You feel me? You know what I mean?
but
So it's
yeah,
like
but Nick,
he he really is a complimentary back in this league. Like, he's not a starting running back, bro. That's just a fact. He's not.
But Nick, I have been, like I said, in people's chats. I've been around. I've heard people say on multiple occasions they think Chuba Hubbard is a star at the running back position.
No, bro. Like, it's
Now,
not even like what? Bro, like
I,
what? Detroit got 2 running backs better than him. There's a couple teams out there with 2 running backs. Bro, Pittsburgh got Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. I'll take both of them over Chuba Hubbard. I'll take Jameer Gibbs or David Montgomery over when I don't think Montgomery's there anymore. But like, you feel what I'm saying?
he
Like,
not.
yeah, but like, you know what I mean? And then there's obvious ones, and then you got teams like Chicago with DeAndre Swift and Green Bay with Josh Jacobs, and like, how many teams would he really go on other than us and actually be contender for the starter? Arizona, maybe, with James Conner there, maybe. You feel me? I can't really think of another one like
Yeah,
that.
but
Tampa. He might start in Tampa if he's there.
what Nick? The problem is in Pantherland. Now, this is what we talk about when young Jalen right there said the delusion. When you come to the Panther fans, you are automatically Superman. You're like some type of
Yeah. You're
superhero
supposed to be
that
some
they
type of
expect to
yeah,
be flying off of buildings and shit. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the expectations for a guy like Chuba, they're gonna say, well, he's gonna give us 1,100 yards. Knowing goddamn well, Chuba's barely gonna give you 900 probably.
Chuba ain't gonna be the starter by the end of October.
There you
Probably
go.
by before Halloween,
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Brooks gonna be the starter.
Well, now you
Shit.
gotta be careful because they already saying, like I said, I'm hearing stuff all over the place. They already saying Jonathan Brooks is one of those guys that they don't feel like he should play at all. Him, Sanders, they feel like some of those guys should be taken slowly. One, because of his injury, they don't want to see him play.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
understandable
That's
right now.
yeah.
Once he's not only physically, but once he's mentally ready, like, that's just as important as being physically ready. You know what I mean? You got to be mentally ready to get up in there too, and take that punishment in between the
Mm-hmm.
tackles.
Well, and like I said, the name of the game today is effective communication. Why is it that Panther fans get so goddamn bent out of shape when you mention stuff like Ike Aquanu or Bryce Young? When you just mention those
You
young
know
fella
why, bro? Let me
names.
tell you why. Q. Because the
Mm,
NFL has become such a microwave league now. If you don't come in and make an impact right away, you're already labeled a bust. When I
Oh,
was coming up
yeah.
watching football, bro, when I was coming up watching football with my uncles back in the late 90s, early 2000s, first round picks, sometimes, not most of the time, not a lot of the time, but sometimes they were project players. You know what I mean? It's guys that you saw crazy potential in, that you'd be like, all right, we're drafting, for example, in '05. So we think this player by '08 might be one of the best players at his position. You're not just thinking of today, you're also thinking of down the line too. What can that player develop into? Icky has all the tools to develop into an elite tackle, no doubt about it. Sure, he has slow feet, but that could be worked on. That's absolutely
hmm
could be worked on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna put it like this right here. You speak about developmental. You speak about the long term. Have you think? Do you think, in your opinion, we made long term moves here? I mean, have our GM done that?
Um, as much as I didn't like Scott Fitterer, more times than not, like, I love the Derek Brown when he drafted Derek Brown. You know, I like a lot of our young players. I think especially on defense, you know, Derek Brown and J.C. Horn, to me, right? You got to look at cornerstone pieces, right, as your franchise, and I think those are two guys who, when healthy, especially J.C. Horn, Derek Brown, we know what he is. Those are cornerstone pieces to your franchise. Those are two superstar guys. You feel me? And then you just build around
Hmm
there. One thing we know is, right, if you got a lockdown corner, that makes the defense always better. Because, I
hmm
mean, especially when you think of our 2015 season, Josh Norman had a third of that field on lock. So for a player like Luke to be like, all right, I got to worry about just covering 67% of the field now instead of the 100, you feel me? Because Josh
hmm
got that 33, that sector line locked down. That's why our defense was so well. Um, Having a lockdown corner is very important to have in the NFL. in my opinion. And I think JC possesses that ability, just staying on the field. Derek Brown, I just saw it, guys. PFF just did a rank. They did the top 100 players, right? Derek Brown was ranked, I think it was like 36th. And think about the respect he has in the league. That man was ranked 36th in the league, and he only had 2 sacks last year. So that means if he had 8 or 9 sacks, he'd probably be in the top 10.
Well,
So Derek
he's
Brown,
not a
he's
sack.
getting that respect from the league. You know what I mean? The
Right.
league knows what Derek Brown is at this point.
Right, but you gotta know that
Cornerstone piece as well.
he'll never get 8 or 9 sacks though, Nick.
I don't
You do
know.
know
I
that,
think he
right?
can. I think so. I think he's capable. I think he's
But
capable, dog.
at the technique that they ask him to play, he's a run stuffer extraordinaire. So you'll never see him. He'll get pushed up the middle. He'll get you about 2 to 3 sacks every year. But as far as just jumping off, getting you close to double-digit sacks, he'll never be able to be that guy.
Hey,
He has potential,
mhm.
but because of what we're asking him to do in the 3-4, he has to be that nose for us, man. That
He's not playing nose. He
plug
might play a
B.
little more nose than we think this year, but he's not a nose. Yo, I gotta go close up shop. I'll probably be back on when I
Okay,
get out of work, fellas.
okay.
Shout out to chat, no
Appreciate
doubt.
you, Doc. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Relax Talk Sports. Earl Lot, Lil, what's going on? It's just one of those things. It's one of those things where you sit back and you look at some of those young key pieces, and I spoke about this earlier. Having young key pieces that's able to be able to franchise pillars for the future for you is very vital to a young franchise to have. And me personally, I think we could have done in the last 2 to 3 years per se that I'm speaking of a better job of making sure that we had key pieces, key cogs to come in. But just because I don't think that we had superstars coming through the door doesn't mean that, hey, I still don't love the team. I love the team just as much. I don't know how it works for you, Jalen, but for me, that's how I feel about it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Love the
But
team too. I love this team, man. Me too. Because
it's
last
one.
year I was getting
Mhm.
mad.
Yeah, you was about almost borderline cussing, Jalen. We we gonna keep the borderline cussing to a minimum this year, though. But like I say, shout out to everybody. The link is in the chat. If you want to come up here, have a little bit of effective communication, speak your piece, get a little bit off your chest, talk about your expectations of what it means to be a Panther fan right now, why they get so bent out of shape over Bryce Young, why they get so bent out of shape over Icky. The mention of Brian Burns gets everybody so goddamn cheeky to the point where I be thinking some of these boys are gonna shoot it out over online. That's what I think it be looking like. Like the division that they have caused with just this season alone has some Panther fans to the left, some Panther fans to the right. It's like the Crips versus the Bloods, and it's seriously causing people to, hey, I'm on this side, hey, I'm on that side of the spectrum. It's bro, we're all Team Carolina. We're all Team Panthers. There's no reason for everybody to be out here essentially picking a side and daring people to cross the side. We all Team Panthers, man. What are we doing?
Yeah, at the end of the day. And Brian Burns, man, it kind of hurts, seeing how Panther fans react to Brian Burns. And he loved playing for the Panthers. It ain't like he hated it, because it would be different if he didn't want to play for the Panthers, but he did. He didn't get hurt, Q. He was
Mm.
consistent. I mean, consistent. But we gonna see. We gonna see without Brian Burns, though. I don't think it's gonna look right. I don't think so.
Well, and if I was to tell you something, Jalen, essentially this season right here, you probably won't have any kind of a pass rush. When it comes to getting
Oof.
sacks, you probably won't have much because Wanham, and I think this is floating over a lot of people's head right now, but Wanham had it was a triceps tear or quadriceps tear, and he had
Contract, yeah.
complications with his surgery. So therefore, that pushed
Uh-oh.
him on the timetable back. That's the guy that you brought in to virtually replace. I ain't gonna say replace Burns, but He had his little 8 sacks over there in Minnesota, but he got those based off of, my man. I can't ever remember his name. Uh, Having all those sacks over there in Minnesota last year. Then now he's
Mm-hmm.
with the Houston Texans. But it's one of those things. I don't think Wanham, with the talent that he has, comes anywhere close to what we had in Brian Burns. Now, granted, Panther fans didn't want to pay Brian Burns. Daniil Hunter, thank you for that, K1. Daniil Hunter. Daniil Hunter is such a force on the offensive lines, on the defensive lines, that whenever he comes, he demands, a double team. And that means
Yep.
somebody's always going to be open. Guess what? DJ Wallen was that guy that was roaming from the other side open most of the times. And he got 8 sacks off of the presence of Daniil Hunter just being there. Like
Yep.
with us, Brian Burns last season had YGM. I just got sad thinking about his name. YGM with his 5-sack getting ass. With his little measly ass 5 sacks, that's the best. That's career numbers for him. But I'm even going to say that YGM moving on to San Fran is probably going to have an improved year because they built their front seven the correct way with Hargrove, Fred Warner, Bosa. Like I said, they got a lot of great pieces over there that who you going to really block? I mean, come on. You can't really virtually block everybody over there. They're going to have a monster on every side of that San Fran defense. And we started building our front seven and we stopped. Once they got Derek Brown and Brian Burns, you had Louvu, and Shaq was going to be, a good chess piece, but he broke his leg. And now it's going to be hard for him to recover from that at his age. But all I'm saying is whenever it's thought about what we could have had with that young core nucleus, Panther fans get all in their feelings. We didn't want Burns. Nobody's paying him $30 million. They get so uptight, man. There's no need to get so uptight. Shout out to everybody. Age of 704 say this is all Bryce's fault. Now that might be one of the truest statements I ever seen.
Yeah.
Now, had we taken a quarterback that was more suited to the scheme last year, you probably wouldn't even been in this position anyway. Once again, scheme and philosophy for NFL offense matters. You could have a fluid offense by just a lot of people don't understand. If you got a good defense and you could take a game manager, aka San Fran, you could take a game manager and go out and win games without a Shanahan coaching for you. Hell, you don't necessarily need to have an all-world coach. If you got a strong defense and you got a young quarterback that's able to manage the game and move the chains, and you got a run game to depend on, you can win some games in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying, cuz. We didn't essentially, like I said, from the moment that young fella got in here last year, it was just pandemonium. Because I don't think that Frank wanted him. I think it was very, and on top of that, this is why I also say Frank is a shitty coach because he got up there and he lied to the Panther, I'll say Panther America, knowing that he didn't want this boy, but he got up there and tell us how smart he is, how great of a processor he is, how he's like a 2-year starter. But then you look at this boy in the game and he's struggling, couldn't see across the field. But and I think people get us so confused because they say we hop on the quarterback too much here at the on this Panther podcast. And like I said, Jalen, it's the single most important position in all of American sports. They're paying quarterbacks for $50 million now for a reason. You get what I'm saying? Per year. Per year. Because every time that ball is snapped, guess who hands on it? Quarterback. Quarterback. So end of the day, they're getting their feelings. I want you to take a look at the title, and it's called effective communication. Do you effectively communicate on both sides of the spectrum? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm asking. I'm going to say it right here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. If you're watching this is going to be a short and sweet live today. Make sure you like the video, comment, show us how you feel about some of this message that's coming out here. It's just a message to say, hey, I hear you. There's no need for you to go and get upset at somebody else. There's no need for you to go. And if they say the word Brian Burns, people just pull out their knives and they walk with the knives ready to stab you. You know what I'm saying? There's no need for that. If you mention the word Ike Aquanu, they pull out their gun and they're ready to fight and stab. They got their fist ball up. It's a coalition of angry little cats. But there's no need for that, bro. Like I said, I'm Team Carolina. You're Team Carolina. Why can't we all just coexist? I don't have to think the way that you think for me to say, hey, I'm a bought-in Panther fan. I don't have to sit here and literally walk the way you walk, talk the way you talk, eat the way you eat. That's not what I'm here to do. I have my own mind frame of how I want to do things. I'm my own man. Nobody woke up and stood in Q's shoes this morning. I stood in my own shoes. I think for my own self. That's all I wanted to say. The message that you should take away from this right here, effectively communicate and think for yourself. You know what you saw in that field last year was unsatisfactory. You know it trickles down from the coaching staff, offensive line. You had terrible running backs. You couldn't even spot a tight end to save your damn life. It is what it is. Like I say, you hear what you want to hear. Now, I just literally physically sat here and said everybody on that offense was bad. Now, watch somebody come back out and say, you talk about the quarterback position too much only. He wasn't the only thing that was bad. And I'm going to tell you, like I tell everybody else, fuck off. That's a message for your ass. Fuck off. Because you didn't listen to a damn thing I said if you sit here and you tell me that. But make sure you comment, you like, and if you standing here with your little fist ball up right now, like the damn video while you're in here. Just do us that favor. Like the video with your little ass.
Not balling the fist up.
Oh, this motherfucker got their fist ball all the way up right now. I don't know why they so defensive, Jalen. It's like everything under 6 foot is just so angry. I know he can play. I know he can do it. Okay, motherfucker, damn. You don't gotta prove shit to me. I woke up this morning. I have my own life together. I don't need you to prove shit to me. You ain't gotta prove that to me. I'm good.
I know he can play. I know he can play.
Oh man, 704. Let me live, cuz. Let me live, cuz. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Boy, y'all boys crazy. Make sure, if you haven't already, join our Discord. We need more people in our Discord. That's where we come in. We all get together after the show. We show each other love. We talk about stuff. We show a lot of different things that people normally don't get to see or interact with us at. That's where we at. We chilling in the Discord. So make sure y'all pull up on us. Make sure y'all do us a favor. Hold on while I post that link, because I want to see a lot more people join the Discord. So Jalen, can you tell me, give me your last words while I'm looking for that link?
Man, my last word would be, I had a good time, man, on the show, man. I miss being on the show. And, you made me laugh, man, with Adam Thielen with his black egg gums, man. That was funny. You funny, man.
All I'm going to tell you, Jalen, man, is life is what you make it. You can't walk around with your hand and your fist balled up all damn day thinking your life going to get better. Like I said, my words to all you people who seems to live and die by this quarterback and live and die by Canales and Dan Morgan, Bro, just live your life. Them cats is not thinking about you. You sitting there by that computer all damn day. You need to go bust a nut some way. Go sit down some way. Go do something proactive. God damn it, go be proactive today. Get out, go get your little water gun, squirt, squirt, squirt. Take your ass on down the road. Come on, man. Y'all already know what time it is, man. It's your boy Dub Q. And the word of the day is squirt, squirt, squirt. Get your ass up outside. It is what it is.